Coming up on Showcase Minnesota, dressing up steak. We're in the backyard this morning for a mouth-watering recipe and a cocktail tour around the world. We're going to chat with the host of the cult favorite series, 3 Sheets. Plus, who's got your back? Advice on building stronger relationships designed to help you succeed. Showcase Minnesota. That's right now. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Showcase Minnesota. I'm Rob Hudson.
Hi, I'm Corbin Seitz.
I'm still stuffed. Had a huge dinner last night, Corb.
Well, you did?
Had a beautiful restaurant. It was beautiful. Alaska Eatery and Glacier Bar. They were on the show a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And Becca and I got to go out to dinner with her boss, Lee and Liz Hetherington. And it was wonderful. The food is fantastic. It really is. And it's my type of place. It's like North Woods. You're in a big cabin. You know, it's like you're in Alaska. Halibut steak. And people say, steak, you're at a seafood place. It was one of the best steaks I ever had in my life.
Yeah. Oh, it sounds delicious.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Absolutely delicious.
Scallops, yeah, the whole deal. But wonderful, wonderful service.
Did you
Just a
have
great
sort
time.
of a smorgasbord? Did
You
you
know,
have
yeah.
scallops and steak and everything?
Well, here's the thing. We've been planning this night out, you know, for quite some time.
You went out. Wait, I'm still backing up to the. I'm overwhelmed with the fact
know.
that you went out.
I know.
Who
I
took
know.
care of the darling, the dumpling?
Our niece came over and took care of Presley. But here's the thing. I had this night out was telegraphed to me coming down the pipe for about 2 weeks. So I went on the website and downloaded the menu for the past 2 weeks.
You've been
I
salivating?
made a game plan. I made a game plan.
You paced yourself.
And Chef Matthew, thank you so much for taking care of us last night. It was great. He was very accommodating. I got to make like a little teeny smorgasbord appetizer platter. I wanted to try everything on the appetizer menu.
Well,
and
and
the
who
scallops,
wouldn't?
everything was the best I've ever had in my life. It was great. Excellent
Really?
food, casual atmosphere.
Where are they located?
They're right on Wyzetta Boulevard, right off of 394.
Okay.
Right there,
Yeah,
right
I know
by the
exactly
old
where you're
Bennigan's
talking
there.
about.
It's a beautiful
Yeah.
place. And well, they were on the show a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Halibut was great. You ever had halibut over a roast, an oak
Well,
roasted
apparently
fire?
I haven't had their halibut, and their halibut's the
my.
only one it sounds like worth having right now.
Great
so-
night. Great night. So
Good
that's
for you.
Yeah, had a wonderful time there, and hopefully they'll come back on the show soon.
Yes.
I want some more cooking secrets
I
from
didn't
them.
have nearly as exciting an evening. My Labrador has been down and out. Truman.
Oh.
Truman watches in the morning. Good morning, Truman. Mommy loves you.
Is he feeling better this morning?
He is. We took him to the vet yesterday,
Good.
and he is feeling better. And he's, I don't know, Labradors, they eat everything, and we think he got a hold of something he wasn't supposed to eat, but he is much, much better today.
Well, you said he's the dog equivalent to me. He eats just
Yeah.
about everything.
Yep. I pretty much say that's a pretty good analogy, Rob.
Well,
I think you've kind of hit it. So I was busy doing dog worrying yesterday, but we're better today, much better
He's
today.
feeling better.
We've got this great book too. Who's got your back, Rob? I always say I got your back. You
I don't
say
know.
you got my back.
yeah.
This author is going to tell us how to develop great relationships that are really going to benefit you and them, but for really all of your life, for a long time in life. Why we don't do that so much anymore and why we need to do that. And says basically we don't have strong friendships, most of us, we say anymore.
I'll take your book and raise you one. Also got The Embers author. Hyatt Bass is on the show today, so we will be getting to the bottom of her first novel as well, getting great reviews around the country, so we'll be talking to her live
All
here
right,
in
good.
studio.
Okay.
Hey, you know what? The
Yeah.
world's most famous wizard, Harry Potter,
Oh, yeah.
is once again weaving his magic at the box office. Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince opens in theaters nationwide at midnight, and it's already selling out theaters across the country. The film is the 6th in the hit franchise. It was originally set to be released last year, but the studio pushed it back to this summer, of course, causing disappointment among millions of fans. But luckily, their wait is now over, and coming up this Friday, film critic Linda Thomas is here to tell us if the movie lives up to the hype.
Oh, I think it will. Those movies, I think, have all been fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Lots
the
of
whole
fun.
franchise.
So magical.
In just a moment, we're going to fire up the grill. More food. We can't stop here.
Yeah.
We're serving up steak in the backyard, but first, a look at what's coming up today on Rachel Ray.
All new. Ladies, you think you've got a big butt, a flat butt, or no butt?
I wish I had a butt that stuck out like a bookshelf and you could put things on it.
Well, we've got your backside covered with help from the buttologist. Here's one secret.
You can do that yourself, actually.
Come on, to sculpting that perfect summer bum at home.
Ow!
Then 3 hot dishes, 2 cool drinks, 1 tasty summer brunch. Next Rach.
Watch Rachel Ray every afternoon at 2 here on Care 11. Now, over to Corbin for more in the show.
And thank you, Mr. Rob. First up this morning, we have a hearty summer favorite that you can definitely sink your teeth into. That's right, we're talking about a little bit of steak, and chef and caterer. And our friend Susan Dunlop is back, and she's here with her take on steak. Hi, welcome back.
How are you?
Well, I'm good. I'm glad to see you. And I held up the empty marinade bowl earlier. Whoops.
Oh, good catch.
Good catch, good catch. And said, we're going to fill that up. You're going to fill that up with a great marinade. Now, tell us what we're going to do today.
Okay, the first thing I want to talk about is the steak, because it's not a steak I'm able to find easily in the Twin Cities. And I'm hoping that by introducing it here today, everyone who's watching will say, I need skirt steak, it's a skirt steak, and ask their butcher to have it available for them. But you can get it at Whole Foods. I do see it at Whole Foods. So the skirt steak is...
what makes this special for this recipe?
Because it takes to the marinade really well, and it tastes great grilled.
Okay.
So it takes the marinade and it grills really nicely. It's this part of, if I were a cow, it's like right here. It's part of the under part of the rib cage.
Is it really tender?
It's not tender, but it has a good flavor. And if you cook it the right way and slice it the right way, it is tender at the end.
It is going to be
so
tender.
That's why you
now,
want to use.
Is it this thin? Is that the thinness?
Yes, this
that
is how
we
it
need?
comes.
Okay,
It's like a
good.
belt.
Okay, good. Excellent. Okay.
And then what you want to do is maybe trim a little of the fat off,
Right.
just to get some of that off.
Okay.
But you know, that cooks out and it's great for flavor in the grill, so don't go crazy trimming the fat, just some of the big pieces like that. But that is the skirt steak, and what I've done is I've prepared a marinade here that we'll put on the grill. I want to get that going so that
good. Okay, so we can have a little
so we have a little taste.
smell sensation. Now,
Yeah.
how long are we marinating?
That's a very good question. You only want to marinate it. You only want to marinate it for an hour, because it's a lime marinade, and it absorbs it relatively
Not
quickly.
overnight.
No,
just
1 hour.
an
So this
hour.
is something you can whip up at the last minute and decide you want to do.
Alrighty.
So let's make the marinade. Very simple marinade. That looks good.
What temp do we have over there?
Very
on the
high,
grill?
a high grill. It's going to cook fairly quickly. 3
Because
minutes.
it isn't thick, like you said. It's
Nope.
not a super thick
Nope.
steak. Okay, 3 minutes.
3 minutes
wow.
on each side usually does it. So my marinade, it's a fresh lime juice marinade, and
Yum.
it's
that looks like a margarita.
you know what?
looks good.
I have a little surprise for you. Since I was squeezing the limes anyway, I did a little lime. We're going to do a mojito as soon as I get that on the grill.
Just a way to start your 10 o'clock day.
So I have
Okay.
it's 2 parts to 1. So this
Okay.
is the lime juice, fresh squeezed.
We'll have the recipe for you on our
And this
website.
is 2.5 ounces of it's 5 ounces of lime juice, 2.5 ounces of olive oil.
Okay.
And then for a little heat, I have 2 teaspoons of red pepper flakes.
Here's
I have
the
2 teaspoons of smoked paprika. When I first started using this ingredient, I'd have to send away for this, but now you can find it in almost any store.
Smoked paprika. I didn't know that there was such a thing. I thought just regular paprika. Okay.
And then 1 teaspoon of cumin. It adds a richness to an earthiness, and you don't want too much, so just 1 teaspoon of that.
Excellent.
And some granulated garlic, not garlic salt, granulated garlic. And normally I use fresh, but for this recipe, it's very tasty.
Oh, that's what I
with
was
the
going to
dried.
ask you. We want the dried for
Yeah,
this.
it absorbs nicely.
Okay. All right.
So
Well,
we're
that
gonna mix
doesn't
that
seem
up.
too tough. We just had to know the good recipe, and then, as you say,
Very simple, very fast.
About an hour
In here
in
for
the
an hour.
fridge.
You know, for safety purposes, yes,
Yeah,
but you don't
probably
have to.
in the
It'll be
fridge.
fine.
Okay.
But if you want to
Okay.
keep your food safe, yes.
Now, are you a firm believer in only turning your steak once, or do you turn it more than once? What do
I'll
you do?
rotate it just to get a nice grill mark.
That's what I was wondering. See,
Yeah.
you can tell she's a professional with steak, because part of it is that crisscross grill
Yep.
mark that looks so darn good.
So we'll let that sit there for a few minutes. This is going to marinate.
Now, what would you serve this with because of its spiciness, do you think? What sounds good to you?
I would slice it thin. I'd put it in a corn tortilla maybe, or on a crostini.
doesn't
Or
that
if you
sound
want to have
good?
it like an entree, you can do it with just some mashed potatoes, because you have the kind of the subtleness of the potato with the
creaminess,
spiciness.
the
Yeah.
subtleness.
So
Oh, that sounds so good. Now, as I understand it, you promised me a cocktail.
yeah, let's do it.
Let's do the cocktail.
Okay, we're going to do some mojitos.
You promised, Susan.
And the other thing I like to do for my mojito, because I don't like to have like a lot of mint in a drink. You know, you get a mojito in a restaurant and you drink it and you got, you know, you're smiling
Green
at
in
your
your
friend
teeth.
and you got green in your teeth.
Bad
So what I do
plan.
is I make my simple syrup, which is equal parts of sugar and hot water. And then I take a bunch of mint and I steep it like a tea for like 20 minutes. And then I get like this really nice
Brilliant.
mint.
You get the flavor. Oh, it's
Simple
lovely. You get exactly that deep, rich mint flavor
Yes.
without all the greenery, which is, as you say, something that we want to pass on, especially if you're on a hot date.
If you're on a hot date, that's
It's
not very
it's a
attractive.
deal breaker. It can be a deal breaker.
Or it would be a nice reason to say, oh, excuse me, let me get that for you.
With my tongue.
That's good. All right, so we're going to
Hey, I used to date, Susan. I used to date. I know how it's done. I've been married forever, but I remember.
So for
All right, so we've got a full glass
yeah,
of
you always
ice.
want to pack your ice in there so it displaces things nicely. You don't have a watered down drink. So we're going to do 1.5 ounces of rum,
Okay.
and I'm going to pause for a second.
Pause.
Yes, because I want to flip my.
Oh, I thought we were letting it marinate or something in the ice cubes. Oh no, that's not why she's
I got
pausing.
see,
She's
you got the
flipping.
nice grill marks
Okay,
there.
keep going. Oh,
All right,
beautiful.
and then I have 1 ounce of lime juice, fresh squeezed, because we were doing it for the marinade anyway. And then 1 ounce of the mint
special
simple
mixture.
syrup. And then I have a little strawberry puree that we modeled here.
Strawberry puree you just mashed up.
Just mashed up, just fresh strawberries. They're in season now.
Doesn't it make it pretty and pink?
Why not just go all
I have
out
a
here?
feeling you're going to feel pretty and pink when you drink this thing. This is a
And
beauty.
then we're gonna go.
Oh, now we got to give it the la cucaracha. As you stir, as you shake, as you, oh, and a little
Little
bubble.
splash of soda.
Are we done there? Are
We're
we
done.
good?
I'm gonna give you a straw, and you need to taste this.
Oh, lordy
I
Lou.
say if you put fruit in it, it's like a breakfast drink. So
Yes.
It's not
I'm going to
too
read
early.
this before I taste, okay? And then I'll come back and taste.
Okay.
For a copy of today's recipes, you can send a self-addressed stamped envelope to the address on your screen, or you can log on to our website, showcaseminnesota.com, and search under the main dish category. Hang on. Oh, wow. Oh, yeah. It tastes like strawberries, guys. Man, you'll be down and out in no time. Okay, there's plenty more ahead. Thank you very much.
you're very welcome.
Coming up, Fast Track Your Career. The folks from Herzing University are here with more on their very popular programs. And later, a must, boy, that was delicious, a must for your summer reading list. Author Hyatt Bass takes us inside the pages of her riveting new novel, The Embers, plus the Minnesota Jazz All-Stars. More on their upcoming show at the Old Log Theater. So please stay tuned. Mojito. Strawberry mojito.
Oh, I
Welcome back to the show. With many folks looking for new job opportunities these days, now's the perfect time to head back to school to learn a new career, and Herzing University offers a wide range of great choices in some of the hottest professions today, including nursing. That's right. And here to tell us more, our campus president, John Slama, and nursing program director, Jessica Hansel. Welcome to the show, Doctor. Great to have you here. You're a first-timer. Nice to see you. You bet. John, let's start with you. And you heard me mention in the opening there, it's now university. Congratulations on that.
Thank you. Yes, we became a university this March, and basically it represents the broader depth and breadth of our programs. We now offer programs in addition to the certificates, diplomas, and associate's degrees we always have. We offer bachelor's degrees, now a master's degree program in business. So,
oh, wonderful, wonderful. And you are associated with Lakeland Medical and Dental as well in there?
Yeah, in fact, we celebrated our 50th anniversary last year here in the Twin Cities.
Fantastic.
We've been offering training here in the Twin Cities for over 50 years now in medical and dental. So.
That's great. Dr. Hansel, let's bring you in and tell us about the nursing program there.
Well, we're pretty excited. We have some innovative methods that we're using to get the students through the program faster, but still making sure they have a good quality experience. So they're able to get a traditional 4-year degree in a 3-year format, and we have inpatient and outpatient clinical experiences secured throughout the city in every specialty area in nursing.
That's great. Now, a 4-year degree, that would be the equivalent of a bachelor's degree.
It is.
What is the benefit to having a bachelor's over an AA or an associated arts degree?
There's a huge benefit. While you may get out of the program sooner if you're going for your associate's degree, we did an evaluation of the need in the Twin Cities and found that really the hospitals in the town are looking for bachelor's prepared nurses. And the Department of Labor actually affirms that when we did an analysis of their statistics as well. So there's an award out there called a magnet award that facilities are seeking, and a large part of that is the credentials of the staff. And a big piece of that is the bachelor's degree prepared nurse.
Well, as a patient, it would put my mind at ease to have a nurse working on me that has a bachelor's degree over an AA degree. Really,
I agree.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk about someone that's more interested in nursing. John, why don't you walk us through the program?
Sure. Well, the important thing is to respond now, because it is a new program. We still have some slots available for this September. So August 12 is a deadline for applications for getting into this September. So we still have some openings available. So the important thing is for viewers, if they're interested or know someone who's interested, is to call. The number's on the screen, and or visit our website and sign up for one of our information sessions.
You know, it's a great career, and you look at today's tough economic times, and there's a demand out there, and people are always going to need nurses. So this is a job that even if you're looking to change careers, I'm sure would be a great choice, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a long-term demand. I think that people really need to focus on, and even though there might be short-term glitches, especially in a bad economy like this, the long-term demand for nursing, of course, is huge, and we're playing a very important part of that here in the Twin Cities.
Yeah, job security is so important when choosing a career. I touched on it briefly. If you already have a career and you're thinking of making that career change, or you're a working professional that wants to add some education, you cater to those folks as well, right?
Absolutely. I mean, if you look at the students walking down our hallways, they come from all walks of life, from students just out of high school to students in their 30s and 40s that are going into new careers. And both types of students feel welcome in our campus.
Dr. Hansel, let me ask you this. I don't want to throw a curveball, but are there different avenues of nursing you can go into? Are there specific areas that you can go into?
With a bachelor's degree, you can basically, it's like having 20 different career options.
Oh, wow.
You can work with adults, you can work with pediatric patients, you could do research, you could go on for an advanced degree in nursing and become your own manager. You could own a clinic. There's so many
there's so many options out there. That's great. How about financial aid, John?
Financial aid, what we find is that just about any student that walks in our doors can qualify for some form of financial aid. So that's important. That shouldn't be holding anyone back from at least researching the possibility of coming to school, going to college.
Do you have job placement help for people that are graduating?
We have a full-time person in our campus that her primary job is helping graduates find jobs. In fact, of last year's graduates out of our campus, 93% found employment in their field.
I'm going to write down your number here. It's Thank you so much for coming on. Good to see you again.
Thanks for having us back.
Congratulations on all the positive changes out there.
Thank you.
Herzing University is located off West Broadway in Crystal. For more information on the programs, my boss is in my ear right now. What did you just say? Call Herzing University. They offer all kinds of great programs out there. Call 1-800-NEW-CAREER. That's 1-800-639-2273 or visit herzing.edu. I think I got myself in trouble there. Up next, who's got your back? How having the right friends can make all the difference when it comes to finding success. And later, the libation guru himself. We're going to mix it up with the host of the popular series 3 Sheets when we return.
When are we going on?
Welcome back to the show. As the old saying goes, behind every great man, there is a great woman. Well, our next guest takes that adage one step further, that behind every truly successful person, there's actually a group of people helping them along. Author Keith Ferrazzi explores these unique relationships in his book, Who's Got Your Back? And this morning, Keith is here to explain. Welcome, Keith.
Thanks a lot, Courtney.
We have to point out right away that the book has hit the New York Times #1 bestseller list.
Couldn't be more thrilled.
It's there. It is there. So obviously, there's a lot to this. You are an author, a successful author of Never Eat Alone. But this is the latest project that you've worked on. What brought you to this idea that it takes a group, that we need a group, a support group to get us through?
Well, first of all, there are way too many of us, and I say us because I've been there as well, who go through life struggling alone. And I'm even talking about married people. This has been a pretty tough last couple of years for so many of us. And we don't have to do this alone. We don't have to live our life in isolation. We can let our guard down. We can let other people in to help. We can pick up with generosity and help other individuals. That's the way this country is going to get back on its feet, and that's the way each one of us are going to thrive.
Oh, well, and you say this isn't a completely original idea in that you didn't invent this idea. Weight Watchers does it. You go to the meetings, you have the support. 12-step program does it. You go to the meetings, you have the support. There are coaches for athletes. There's all kinds of backup
That's
people.
a great point. Even the best athletes have coaches, right? So why don't all of us have somebody really pushing us, holding us accountable? There's greatness inside of you. Who's asking you every week whether you're doing the stuff that you need to do to achieve that greatness?
Well, where are we going to find these people? Because clearly, I said earlier in the opening of the show, you told me that most people don't really feel someone has their back. Someone is there for them for a long period of time and knows you.
This is the most exciting thing, and it's also the most frustrating thing. It's the most exciting thing because the answer is these people are all around us every day. The most frustrating thing is we don't choose to invite them in. So the answer is,
Good point.
And they really are. They're everywhere. They're right here around us, and no matter where we are. So the question is, what do I need to do to let my guard down a little bit to say, hey, let's go have a long cup of coffee today and talk about what's going on?
Okay, all right. You say that there are mindsets. We have to get in the right mindset with these people, and we have to see if they're in the right mindset with us. So we're going to go through those tips. The first one is generosity. How are we gauging generosity?
Generosity is whether or not I give a damn enough to look at you and say, I want you to be successful, and I'm going to work with you to be successful, almost to the point where I'm saying, I'm not going to let you fail. That's generosity.
Okay, and as we say, it's a two-way street. You have to invest in your friend, they have to invest in
So is this
you.
somebody you want to invest in?
Yeah, okay, all right. The second thing is vulnerability.
Can you let your guard down? Too many
Oh,
people
boy, that's
don't
hard.
go here because of this very reason. They won't let their guard down. Even the little bit of vulnerability, they won't let their guard down. And by the way, this is a lot of spouses won't let their guard down around their other spouse. So you've got to be willing to let your guard down. People are not going to use it against you. And in fact, if anybody out there is an evil person, don't live your life protecting yourself against the 3% who are. Live with the 97% who aren't.
Oh, there are women who feel they always have to have their makeup on around their husband, somebody they're married to, been with forever. I mean, even that kind of lack of vulnerability. Candor is another one, and I think this really comes into play with our friendships because we often want to paint this picture that we live this perfect life.
Our friends don't tell us the truth. Our friends tell us what they think we want to hear. I guarantee you there are people out there that you even have as friends who you see them going down the wrong path, you see them making the wrong choices, and we don't say anything because we don't think we have permission. That's not the kind of friends I'm talking about. Those are acquaintances. Who's got your back? Lifeline relationships are deeper.
We're always a little scared to step over that line because will our friends say, that's too much for me to hear, I can't be in a relationship with you now.
Yeah, no, I understand that. And look, we need to hold each other accountable, finally. You know, I see the greatness inside of you. I'm going to ask you every week whether or not you're achieving it step by step. It is a simple process. There's 9 steps. Tomorrow night at the Hyatt, I'm giving a free seminar, and I know you all are talking about it on the website for any more information.
Yeah.
But I'm really excited because this is at everyone's fingertips. Everybody can have it.
Well, it is a very interesting concept that we should be familiar with, but we don't seem to be able to apply it very well. So,
well, come to my seminar.
Your book is going to help us do that, the free seminar,
and read the
too.
book.
It's a pleasure to meet you, and
You are a pleasure.
congratulations again on the New York Times list.
Thank you very much.
You can find Keith Ferrazzi's book, Who's Got Your Back, in bookstores everywhere. And still ahead, a sizzling summer read. More on the critically acclaimed drama, The Embers. Then later, jazz greats, the Minnesota All-Stars, perform for us live. So stay tuned, won't you?
That's what I mean. Creole babies with flashing eyes, softly whispering tender sighs.
on the set with Rob.
Corbin joins for first birthday.
I know, it's ridiculous. We're just starting to get like
And welcome back to the show. Our next guest knows a little something about telling compelling stories. Hyatt Bass has spent years in the film industry as a screenwriter and director, so it's no surprise that her debut novel will play out like a good movie. In The Embers, Hyatt Bass tells the tale of a once close-knit family who becomes divided after a son's mysterious death. And this morning we are pleased to welcome Hyatt to the show to tell us more. Good morning, Hyatt. A pleasure to meet you.
Thank
Congratulations.
you so much.
Your first novel.
Yes.
Congratulations on that. How did it all come
you.
about?
Well, the way it came about is I was actually sitting down to write my next screenplay for my next film, and I started working on it, and from the very beginning it felt like a novel, but I kept brushing those ideas aside, even though I would scribble in the margin, you know, if a novel, X, Y, Z. And then finally, when the screenplay didn't work, I just thought, well, I have nothing to lose, I'll start writing it as a novel, and I loved writing this way. And so that's it, 7 years later.
7 years later, here we are. Here we are on a book tour.
And now it's going out to filmmakers to be made into a movie, hopefully.
Well, there we go. I was going to ask you about that. It reads a lot like a screenplay. Was that the intention?
Well, you know, I just can't help. I'm visual, you know, and I think that way. So I think that's why it has that sort of quality.
You started off your career as a screenwriter. You've done the Hollywood thing. Your feature film, 75 Degrees in July, was your latest work. How did that experience help you in writing a novel?
Well, I learned a lot about storytelling, you know, what worked and what didn't. You know, it was really liberating to be able to go to writing a novel, just because to me the screenplay format is very confining. First of all, everything has to happen in about 120 pages.
Well, it seems like there'd be a lot of chefs in the kitchen too, you know, with the movie.
Absolutely.
And this, you have a lot more control.
Yeah, you're writing the final thing. You know, it's not a blueprint. So that was really nice.
Yeah, well, it lends itself nicely because it reads really well. I think it's important to point out, too, you're sharing proceeds of The Embers to a lot of women's charities around the country. Why did you decide to do that?
Well, I'm on the board of the New York Women's Foundation, which gives funds to grassroots organizations working all over New York City that are promoting economic security, starting with women and girls. And so that's been such a rewarding experience throughout the writing of this book that I decided to share proceeds with funds like theirs all over the country.
That's fantastic. Is The Embers autobiographical in any manner?
It's not. I mean, you know, of course, people write from their own experiences, but it really, the way that I write is I take glimmers of things from my own life or from books or movies or things I overhear on the subway, and start putting them together and thinking, well, what would happen? What if things happened a little differently, or what if things got carried to their furthest extreme? And then that's, you know, how it all starts to come together.
Growing up in Fort Worth, you come from a very famous, well-known family, the Bass family. Is it tempting to write something that's autobiographical? I mean, there's got to be some great stuff to write about.
You know what? Actually, I've had such a self-consciousness growing up about the fact that people knew who I was before they met me, that I actually put a lot of that into the book, in the sense that this character of Joe, the father in particular, is very much judged. You know, he's held responsible for his son's death, although, you know, over the course of the book you get the full story of what happened. And, you know, I really put a lot into his character about being judged by people who don't know your full story. People who assume that they know something about you, but they don't.
I can see that.
Yeah,
How that would play out.
and also sort of there was sort of a loneliness to it, just in the fact that I, you know, just the self-consciousness of that. I felt a little bit different. I mean, the great thing about growing up is that you then learn that everyone's had an experience like
That's
that.
right.
And so I think, you know, everyone can relate to that feeling in the book. But it's funny following Keith, because the whole book is really about how people, you know, the people who should be closest to one another have such a difficult time connecting to one another.
In your PR sheet that I was preparing for the segment, I couldn't help but read that you had your portrait done by Andy Warhol. Were you an infant, or do you remember Andy Warhol?
Oh, I remember. Yeah, it was really my sister and I absolutely fell in love with him. And the great thing is,
how old were you?
I think I was maybe 10 or 12. I was 10, and then I knew him until he died when I was around 17 or something.
Is that right?
Yeah.
What was he like?
So nice, just so nice, and so kind of, just kind of spacey. Actually,
Kind of like, was he pretty close to the way he's portrayed?
I guess so, but just so sweet.
Do you still have the portrait that he did?
Yeah, well, yes, I do. And the funniest thing is that I actually have somewhere 1 million pictures taken on my own funny little, you know, camera that I got when I was 6 years old that I took next to him, because, you know, he started by taking photographs.
Next up, a coffee table book by Hyatt Bass of Andy Warhol pictures. Hi,
and
thank
my
you so
own
much.
photographs.
Yeah, Congratulations on the novel,
Thank
and
you.
keep writing. Really,
Thanks
keep writing.
so
Got
much.
a talent for it.
Thank
bet.
you.
Hyatt is hosting a book signing tonight at the Birch Bark Bookstore in Minneapolis. The event starts at 5 p.m. and you can find Hyatt Bass's book, The Embers, in bookstores everywhere. Now, Corbin Seitz, I know you have many pictures of your modeling days in New York City,
Oh,
of you
gosh.
and Andy Warhol at Studio 54, right?
Yeah, absolutely. No way. I bet her book would be really interesting of photographs.
coffee table book,
yeah,
you
I
bet.
think it would be very good.
It's time now for First Birthdays.
First Birthdays is brought to you by Minnesota College Savings Plan and ECFE.
And happy first birthday to Lauren Stemper. This cutie enjoys giving hugs and kisses and exploring the kitchen pantry.
And that triple dose of birthday cheer goes out to Zoe Madison and Aiden Karnowski. Might be Zoe. Would you say Zoe, Corbin?
Yeah, I think I would.
Zoe Madison and Aiden Karnowski. These triplets love playing with their
Wow.
sister, or going for walks and playing peekaboo.
And say happy first birthday to Lily Kate Holman. This little doll likes tearing up magazines and splashing in the bathtub. Sounds like a big day, Lily. Happy birthday, Lily. And to everyone celebrating a birthday today.
That's right. Now, if you'd like to have your child's picture featured on First Birthdays, please send a non-returnable photo to First Birthdays, 8811 Olson Memorial Highway, Minneapolis, Minnesota, 55427. You can also email us at firstbirthdays@showcaseminnesota.com. We need to receive the pictures at least 2 weeks in advance of the child's birthday. And up next, exotic locales and even more unique drinks. We're going to go around the world with the host of 3 Sheets. That's next.
Raises an interesting question.
What's going on?
These are the voyages. The Starship Enterprise. Number 1, engage. What's happening? Kai. Is it right now? Must be hold music or something, right? Let me picture up. Trust my so. Hi there, how are you? How do I get the job of being your hold music? What is that? What is that? Are you still there? Okay. That's awesome.
He treats Skybar like his own personal stage.
Okay, so we're lit.
And he certainly has a flair for the theatrical.
Fire, 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 fire.
Welcome back to the show. Talk about a sweet gig. Zane Lamprey gives new meaning to soaking up the local color. Zane is the host of the popular Fine Living Network series 3 Sheets. In it, he travels the world over discovering exotic drinks and customs. And this morning he joins us live from New York City to tell us more. Good morning, Zane. How are you doing?
How are you doing?
I'm sober. I hope you are too.
I am sober at the moment, yes. Thank you.
I got to ask, everyone probably starts off these interviews, dude, how did you get this sweet job? But, I mean, does it get a little tiring? I mean, are you drinking every night?
When we're shooting, like the last thing, because we might shoot 4 episodes at a time, the last thing we want to do is take a break and, like, make our trip any longer. So, I might shoot 4 days and then shoot another 4 days, another 4 days, another 4 days. So, yeah, by the time I come home, the last thing I want to do to unwind is have a drink.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, you don't go to the fridge and pop a bud?
No, as a matter of fact, usually when I come home, it's like there's none in there. So, no, but now I've been on hiatus for a while. What's that?
Your roommates drank it all when you're gone, right?
Yeah, exactly. I come home to an empty fridge.
Well,
usually, after I'm on hiatus for a while, like I have been, now I start to, want to drink every now and then. But
does your liver
during
start
during
to hurt?
the show, I need a break from it. Yeah, exactly.
Well, tell us about some of the more unique experiences that we're going to see on the show.
Well, I mean, the first episode is New Zealand, I believe, and there I drink some moonshine. Of course, in every episode we try to figure out the local hangover cure, and that is jumping off a 300-foot gorge. So,
okay,
it's a good time. Normal. It did the trick. I was scared for my life.
Yeah, well, understandably. Now we're looking at you in Africa, and it looked like you were drinking a mud puddle pouring into a cup. Do you ever get sick from some of these concoctions?
I have gotten sick. I don't necessarily think from the concoctions, but sometimes the food or inadvertently drinking the water. I did that in Bangkok. That was a mistake. But no, and it's surprising because when I was in Belize, I had something called Viper rum, which is rum that has a dead snake that's been sitting in it for about a year. And
again, perfectly
normal.
normal.
I drank that. I've drank other stuff. What's that?
Perfectly normal.
Yeah, that's fine. It's it's what they do in Belize.
Well, it's kind of like
what they do there.
It's taking the worm in the tequila and just basically a bigger worm, right?
I don't think the worm in the tequila smells like roadkill mixed with rum. I mean, the Viper rum is the most disgusting thing you've ever smelled, let alone drank.
I can imagine. You know what? My next question: what's the strangest thing you've ever consumed? But come on, a Viper in a bottle of rum. Can you top that?
Yeah, that's it. I mean. So yeah, I mean, I did when I was in Vietnam. I had rice wine that had dead geckos, seahorse, and a dead cobra in it. So
why?
But for some reason, that didn't taste quite as bad. Medicinal purposes?
Well, why?
I don't know.
Maybe I'm not. About a minute and a half ago, I was jealous of your job, and suddenly I'm not so jealous of what you do. Why do you do it?
Well, you know what? For every time I have to drink something with a dead creature in it, I have to drink 10 other things like going to Champagne and drinking Cristal or drinking a $10,000 bottle of scotch or that kind of thing. So,
hey,
no, be jealous. Be jealous.
Okay, I'm holding up the shirt here. It's from the Fine Living Network, and on the back it says, I saved 3 sheets. What's the purpose with these shirts? Are these just promotional shirts, or?
Well, yeah, I mean, what happened was we used to be on a network called Mojo, and it went off the air on December 1st. And then we weren't immediately picked up by another network, so the fans all got together. We had Save Three Sheets rallies in LA and New York, and you know, the fans really did save the show. There's a huge following, which I don't think the other networks were aware of.
Right.
Fine Living was, and then, you know, ultimately they're the ones that helped to save it. So.
Well, that's cool. Zane, I'm a fan. I loved your show when it was on Mojo, and I'm going to watch it again. I have one request. You got to come to northern Minnesota, or I see you're going to Lithuania. You might be able to find it there. Plinkovic. Have a shot of Plinkovic. Plinkovic. You can find it in northern Minnesota.
It sounds like wood.
No,
what is it?
It's a Yugoslavian liqueur. It's Eastern European, and it's a liqueur. It's a cordial. And it's a northern Minnesota
I haven't had it, but I'm sure I'll have it someday, hopefully in the near future.
Have you ever heard of the Iron Range of Minnesota? Up north? That's where they drink it. It's the only place you can find it in the United States.
Okay, I'll go there.
Take my word
I'm going to go to the Iron Range. Yeah, we're going to go there right now.
Go there. Yeah, really.
Thanks, man.
You bet. Have a great day. Congratulations.
Plankovic, you got
Plinkovic.
it. Cheers.
Plinkovic. The 4th season of 3 Sheets kicks off next Monday, July 20th at 9 p.m. Central Time on the Fine Living Network. Check your local listings for details. He couldn't handle it. Plinkovic. Straight ahead, music to get you jazzed this Wednesday morning, a performance from the Minnesota Jazz All-Stars when we come back.
I have tried in vain, never no more to call your
No.
Yeah, just pretend like it's just practice. Okay.